Good evening, Prasatu Michael, and you're watching Kini News, the show that brings you today's biggest stories. No one is above the law. That's the message we're getting across the board from both sides of the political spectrum on Minister Khairuddin's alleged quarantine non-compliance. Selangor Amanah Youth lodged a police report today against Plantation Industries and Commodities Minister Khairuddin Aman Razali, who was accused of violating the 14-day quarantine order after returning from Turkey last month. For the record, during the span of Khairuddin's visit from July 3rd to 7th, more than 5,600 new COVID-19 cases and 93 deaths were reported in Turkey. In total, Turkey has had over 250,000 COVID-19 infections and over 6,000 fatalities from COVID-19. Selangor Amanah Youth Chief Muhammad Fauzi Hashim said Khairuddin's alleged actions must be investigated because ordinary people have been punished for similar offences.
Kita mengharap ada siasatan sebab kita tahu bahawa seorang makcik di Perak telah pun dijatuhkan hukuman penjara 1 hari dan juga denda RM8,000 pada tarikh yang lebih sama. Makcik tu didakwa dalam 6 hari bulan Julai, kes dia langgar kuarantin itu. So yang datuk ni 7 Julai. Jadi bagaimana seorang warga biasa, makcik tu berumur 72 tahun, boleh dipenjara 1 hari, denda RM8,000. Jadi ini satu benda yang kita rasa tidak adil sekiranya tidak ada siasatan ataupun tindakan terhadap seorang yang bertaraf menteri kerana telah melakukan kesalahan yang juga sama.
Meanwhile, at a separate event today, Deputy Health Minister Dr. Noor Azmi Ghazali said there will be no double standard when it comes to punishing those who flout COVID-19 standard operating procedures, including top government officials. Commenting on the issue concerning Khairuddin, Noor Azmi said no one will get away if proven that they have broken the law. Khairuddin had responded to the matter by saying that the Health Ministry would issue a statement over it. Previously, the Kuala Lumpur MP confirmed with the media that he had taken a COVID-19 test upon arrival at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport after his trip to Turkey, and that he had attended the Dewan Rakyat sitting on July 13th. Speaking to reporters today, Khairuddin said that the fact that he was allowed entry into the palace on August 17th proved that he had tested negative for COVID-19. Seputeh MP Theresa Kok had claimed that Khairuddin had attended at least 12 programs and meetings after he returned from Turkey. Najib has been campaigning hard in Slim. Last night he told hundreds of people why an outsider wouldn't be right for the constituency. Former Prime Minister Najib was in full campaign mode on Thursday as he spoke to about 250 people at a ceramah organised by the Makal Sakti political party in Slim River. His message was simple: vote for the local BN candidate Muhammad Zaidi Aziz and not the outsider, independent Amir Kushairi Muhammad Tanusi.
Calon atuk ni orang Teluk Intan, tuan-tuan. Dia tak kenal tuan-tuan. Jadi tempat dia di Teluk Intan, tanding di Teluk Intan lah, terus tanding di sini. Apa tanding di sini? Kita nak anak tempatan yang besar sama kita, yang tahu perasaan hati tuan-tuan, yang tak ke mana. Macam mana pun dia akan ada di sini, di sisi tuan-tuan, bersama-sama dengan tuan-tuan. Inilah kita nak.
Amir Kushairi is a Sharia lawyer who is contesting in Slim for Mahathir's party Pejuang. However, because the party has yet to be formally registered, Amir is contesting as an independent candidate. Also backed by Pakatan Harapan, Amir will be going against the BN candidate and another independent candidate as Santara Sekaran. In his speech at the event titled Ceramah Perdana Bersama Bosku, Najib also raised the issue of Amir not being part of a ruling political party, which means he may not be able to do much for the people of Slim.
Calon bebas menang, dapat allowance, tapi tak boleh buat apa untuk tuan-tuan. Betul? Yang boleh adalah mereka yang ada kerajaan. Hari ini kita sebahagian daripada kerajaan dalam Perikatan Nasional, tetapi kita yakin bahawa insya-Allah kalau ada PRU nanti, kemungkinan BN boleh berkuasa. BN boleh jadi kuasa lebih daripada hari ini kalau kita ada PRU nanti, tuan-tuan. Jadi janganlah kita sia-siakan undi kita.
Prasatu has finally received the golden ticket, and no, we're not talking about a trip to the chocolate factory. It's even better than that. UMNO and PAS have agreed to invite Prasatu to join their Muafakat National Political Pact after a meeting by the deputy presidents of both parties. UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi confirmed the matter on Twitter today. He said a Muafakat meeting, chaired jointly by UMNO Deputy President Muhammad Hassan and PAS Deputy President Tuan Ibrahim Tuan Man, reached the decision to invite Prasatu into Muafakat. This comes after Prasatu President Muhyiddin Yassin announced that the party's inclusion in Muafakat would be finalised in the near future. Muhyiddin said that the plan to join the pact had received the nod from Prasatu Supreme Council. By having Prasatu on board, Muafakat is expected to become the largest political coalition that supports the Perikatan National Governing Coalition. However, Prasatu's plan to join Muafakat had received some negative feedback from several UMNO leaders. There was commotion at the Malakoff office in KL today as dozens of plantation workers tried to send a memorandum. The intention of Windsor Estate workers from Taiping to hand over a memorandum to plantation owner Malakoff Corporation Berhad failed to materialize after they were stopped by police this afternoon. Led by PSM, around 25 plantation workers arrived at the company's office in Plaza Central, Kuala Lumpur at about 11 a.m. this morning to send a memorandum to protest the cut-off of water and electricity supply to the homes of 3 families at the plantation. However, the situation became tense when they were informed by the police that the company was not prepared to receive the memorandum. Around 50 uniformed and plainclothes police personnel were at the scene. Former Sungai Siput MP Dr. Michael Jayakumar, who was present, had asked the police to allow 2 representatives to submit the memorandum. However, the situation turned chaotic after PSM Secretary General A. Sivarajan tried to rush towards an elevator before being stopped by police. The situation cooled off after PSM Deputy President S. Aruchalvan agreed to disperse without being able to submit the memorandum. Sarawak DAP youth has been asked to apologise by their own Harapan allies. I think you know for what. Sarawak DAP youth have been asked to apologise by Amanah and PKR youth leaders for pasting Chinese writing stickers on 3 road signs in Kuching. Amanah committee member Faiz Fadzal said the action of his fellow coalition partner was not respectful of the Malay language as the national language and violated the federal constitution. He said actions like this may invite misunderstandings among different communities in the country, especially the Malays. Faiz then called on DAP youth to apologise for their move. His views were shared by Terengganu PKR Deputy Chief Adin Pauzi, who warned that such actions could cause tensions between races. Sarawak DAP youth members stuck Chinese characters on several road signs in the city on the grounds that they need to be translated for the needs of tourists from China. The High Court in Kota Kinabalu has dismissed Musa Aman's application, but they're not giving up. Former Sabah Chief Minister Musa Aman's judicial review against the dissolution of the Sabah Legislative Assembly has been dismissed by the High Court in Kota Kinabalu this morning. According to Bernama, the decision was made by Judicial Commissioner Leonard David Shim. Following a failed attempt to topple the Warisan-led Sabah government, Musa and 32 state assembly persons who support him filed a legal challenge, naming Governor Juha Khairuddin and Warisan President Shafi Abdal as the first and second respondents. Meanwhile, lawyer Tengku Fuad Ahmad, who is representing the 33 assembly persons, said they are appealing the court's decision. He said the applicants disagreed with the judge's decision, particularly over the interpretation of the words advice and request stipulated in the Sabah constitution. Tengku Fuad said in Sabah, request and advice are not viewed as the same thing. He said they may mean the same thing in Perak, Kedah or in the Malayan states, as those states have sultans, but in Sabah there's a governor who is not royalty. It is believed that Fuad was referring to the interpretation of Article 10 of the state constitution, which concerns the power of the Sabah governor to accept or withhold consent to a request to dissolve the state assembly. The article also stipulates that a governor, in exercising his functions, shall act in accordance with the advice of the state cabinet. Coming up next, we take a look at the country's latest COVID-19 situation. A new cluster in Kuala Lumpur has been discovered. Here's more on that. Malaysia reported 9 new COVID-19 cases today, including one attributed to a new cluster in Kuala Lumpur. From the total number of cases today, 5 were locally transmitted cases, while the remaining 4 were imported cases involving foreigners travelling from the Philippines, Austria, India and Indonesia. For the locally acquired infections, Health Ministry Director General Dr. Noor Abdullah said 3 cases were reported in Kedah linked to the Tawak cluster, bringing the size of the cluster to 58 cases so far. In Kuala Lumpur, 1 case was attributed to the newly discovered Maju cluster, which involves a restaurant in Titi Wangsa. The first 2 cases in this cluster had been reported on August 16th. They are workers at the restaurant and were detected as a result of random screening on restaurant and eatery workers around Kuala Lumpur. Following this, contact screening was conducted, where a new case involving a customer at the restaurant was detected. In Sarawak, 1 foreigner was screened before returning to his home country, but tested positive for COVID-19 and has been warded at the Sarawak General Hospital instead. The patient did not display any symptoms. What started with a headache and a fever would land 31-year-old Francisco Garcia in 4 hospitals and in coma as his family watched helplessly. 31-year-old Los Angeles resident Francisco Garcia tested positive for COVID-19 in April and says he doesn't know how he caught it. At first, his symptoms were mild. He had a headache and a fever, but Garcia's condition quickly deteriorated.
I just remember being in the hospital very close to my house. Then after that, I don't remember anything because I was out.
Garcia slipped into a coma. He doesn't recall being in pain. All he can remember is being at a hospital near his home. Then he woke up in a different hospital with a tube inserted in his nose. His family watched helplessly as he was transferred between 4 different hospitals in total, and doctors recommended that they turn off his life support.
So my dad's like, no, just keep on giving him the medication. Let's see what happens. And 2 or 3 days passed, and that's when he started bleeding from his brain.
But his mother and sister never gave up hope, and eventually he woke up.
Everybody saw that I was a miracle, that I actually survived what I went through.
The miracle of his recovery is mixed with feelings of helplessness. His mother suffers from cancer and his sister is diagnosed with lupus. The primary care at home, Garcia was devastated when he was told he'd been in hospital for 4 months.
I felt like useless sometimes when I was in the hospital. Just because knowing that my mom, my sister are sick and everything, and like I can't do nothing about it. That kind of like hurt me.
Released from hospital 2 weeks ago, Garcia is now recovering at home. He says he wants his old life back.
But I just want to get back to how I was, where my stamina is back strong, that I could walk without a walker, without any, go up the stairs without any help, and probably run and start to play again and try to catch up with my life.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'll be back with more next week, same time, same place. I'm Prasatu. Thank you for watching.